All right, everybody, what's going on? It's John Register, JR. We're back again with another LinkedIn Live. And guess what? I'm looking at my audio queue, and it says that LinkedIn says I posted way too many times today, and I haven't even been on StreamYard today. What's going on with that? So if you're on LinkedIn, guess what? You're not hearing me. But you're on YouTube and you are on Facebook groups. Make sure that you're commenting in. So you are back on Hurdlers of Adversity, Inspirers, and Maximizers of Pivotal Moments. I am your host, John Register. And guess what? I am an international keynote speaker, a change mindset warrior, and I work with business professionals to help them amputate fear, embrace a new normal mindset to win the medals in their life. Now, this show is all about introducing you to get up close and personal with courageous conversation, with dynamic dialogues with inspirers and maximizers of pivotal moments. And I can't believe the guests that we have on today. I've been waiting like all month to interview this young lady. She is just so bad. You're just gonna love her because this is Women's Month, and we've been doing this all the time. I'm just highlighting women this month. We've been doing it all the time. I've been interviewing dynamic, bad A women, women who are changing business, the game unapologetically. I have another guest. She's in the green room right now. Okay, so if you're not familiar with me, my name is John Register. I was once a world-class hurdler at 5:29 in the afternoon on May 17th, 1994. I was on my way to officer candidate school, and then boom, I had a training accident which resulted in the amputation of my left leg. So how do you go from world-class athlete and then amputee? Well, my wife tells me, you know what, John, we're going to get through this together. This is just our new normal. And we began a new normal mindset. And that mindset led me on to swimming. Swimming became the Paralympic Games. So I swam the Paralympic Games, go figure that. I saw athletes on the track running and jumping on artificial limbs. I had a leg made for running. And just 4 short years later, won silver medal in the long jump in Sydney, Australia, becoming the only American to jump over 17 and a half feet without a leg or a knee. And I use all that acumen to kind of build this business out on Inspired Communications. So our guest, they have each done similarly in their lives as well. And so we're on the platforms once again, and I can't wait to just get to it. So I'm flying through all this stuff today because the woman I want you to meet is just one of these individuals who is just stellar. She's a rock star. And so I want to make sure that you all get a chance to know her. So first of all, thanks for watching. And if you're out there right now, please put in the chat where you are watching from, where you're streaming from. I see we have at least two people on. And I always get these notices that one or two are on, but then after it's over with, it's like 30 of you have been on. So tell me you're on when you get in there. So tell me where you're streaming in from. I'd love to know that. I know we got to have Lynn Kier on because the North Carolina crew has got to be in the house. She's always in the house. And then please put your notification on for future shows as well. All right. So that is just kind of it for me. I'm going to really just dive into it real fast here because I don't want to really prolong the time because our guest is just one of those individuals that we want to talk to forever. I'm just so interested to hear her story and her conversation, and for you all to meet her. So she is a four-time Olympian, three-time medalist, and I believe I have it right. 2004 silver in Athens. London, she gets the gold in 2012, and then that's on the 4x100. Hey, what's going on? We got a Facebook user in there right now. I think that's probably Lynn Kier. Hello, John. Hello, how you doing? What's going on, Facebook user? Facebook user 145678910. I hope you're doing well today. So silver in the 100-meter dash in Athens. 2004, London, 2012, London. She gets gold on the 4x100 meter relay team. And then she does a switch up over to the Winter Games. 2014 wins gold in the bobsled. And I've done bobsled, the craziest sport ever created in the world. But it makes her the first American woman to medal in both the summer and the Winter Games. Wow, she is passionate about financial literacy and ensuring the millennial generation is not spoken down to. Her office, like her sprint spirit, is on the go. Her company, Worth Winning, offers virtual services to help young professionals get the answers to financial questions that matter most to them. So please welcome brand new author of The Oval Office, Lauryn Williams. Go, 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 go. I can't believe you're here. Oh my gosh.
I need to put you in my pocket and take you everywhere because that introduction made me. I'm like, ooh, that girl sounds like somebody.
You are somebody. You are somebody. No, thank you so much, Lauren, for being on and saying yes to this. I'm really excited. And once again, we have some people coming on right now. If you want to say hello to Lauren and spell her name right, because when I do it on my phone and I just kind of because I always do talk to text, it doesn't come up right. so
Yes.
so
I'm Lauren
please
with me. I'm Lauren with a Y.
with a Y. She's with a Y. Because why? Because she's a fast motor scooter. So put in the chat box, say hello to Lauren, everybody. Okay, so you said we met before bobsled. I don't remember where, but I'm going to trust you on that.
I'm
Um,
100% sure. I think maybe the University of Miami. Not sure, but I know that I've seen you speak.
oh, okay, all right.
And you were doing
So
like more of a keynote sort of situation when I first met you. When you said that we met while doing a group activity, which came back to my mind as you told me about it. I know for sure that I saw you speak on your own prior to that.
okay, all right. Okay, I'm not gonna. What do you remember? What do you remember?
You were a good speaker.
Okay, that's like the classic answer.
Memorable personality.
I had a really tough assignment on the first day that I recall us, meeting, and a lot of personalities in the room. We're at Lake Placid, New York. You've come off a very successful track and field career, and now you're bobsledding. First time, I think that was your first year, or it's maybe the second year, but first year I think it was. You're just kind of just, what is this all about? And a lot of personalities up there. And Darren Steele, the executive director, was having a lot of trouble with trying to corral the direction and focus of it. And so he asked me to come up and say, "Hey, John, an hour, I want you to fix it all." I was like, Darren, I can't do that. But you got up, and I remember you said, "I want to be the scribe." You remember that?
I don't, but I do remember scribing.
You
Like, so I must have said it if I got up and scribed.
you said it, and what I remember from that, I said because I was really nervous because I had to get people to a place to where they were going to kind of self incriminate. They're going to do self incrimination of where they actually were, and because I couldn't come in and say, "You're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong." Had to self incriminate, and we got to the place, and you were the one that started that off for me. So I am totally in your debt for that.
I take Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, money orders, cashier's check.
You know why she's saying this, y'all? Because she's in financial market and she's trying to get some money in her pocket. That's what she's doing. That's why she's got that all, y'all. So before we get to your bobsledding, before we get to your track and field, before we get to your financial planning, I want to know who has been the most influential woman in your life.
Ooh, the most influential woman.
Lots of women in your life. Who's been the most influential?
You are right. There have been lots of women in my life. And I tend to shy away from questions like this because I really believe in the it takes a village
Hmm.
kind of mindset. And so many people have been influential. But I'm going to go with my coach, Amy Dean from the
Mm.
University of Miami, as most influential. Um, it's just one of those things where she took on the role of coach, of confidant, of friend, mom when necessary, and really took the time to really understand me as a person and not baby me or kind of sugarcoat things for me. I really appreciate the way she understood my personality, took time to understand my personality, and then kind of govern herself accordingly and helping me become the best young woman that I could be in light of my personality. Because sometimes you do this one size fits all sort of, everybody needs to do this, or everybody needs to do this workout, or everybody needs to behave in this way.
Hmm.
But when you take time as a coach to go above and beyond and say, what makes this particular person tick, and how can I help them become the best individual, not just best athlete, but best individual as well, you are a special kind of person.
Do you think that you have taken some of the insights that you had with Amy and it's kind of melded into your life as a financial planner now? Is that kind of one of the you think it bleeds over?
Oh, for sure.
Hmm.
There are so many things I learned from sport in general that ended up being life skills that I could carry over into life after sport.
Hmm.
But so many of the things specifically that she shared with me, or ways that she treated me, or just behaviors that were instilled in me. One of them being on time, as an example. She did not tolerate tardiness. She didn't make a big deal about it in the way that you hear other coaches, but you knew not to be late. And to this day, I am, it's 4:01. I'm like, where is everybody? What's going on here? It's supposed to start at 4. If I am like 4:01 and I'm supposed to be the 4 o'clock person, I'm incredibly apologetic and I feel very guilty about time. So things
Was I
like
late today?
you were late. You were.
Oh, I'm so
It was like
sorry.
great.
I apologize.
I forgive you though. It's okay.
Was I? I got those other. Yep. Um, so okay, I apologize. I thought I was on time, but maybe on time is late. So
Maybe it was technology. It took a while for the technology to open up and do its thing. It wasn't you. It was the technology that was late.
yeah. Do you believe? Cause I'm on this kick now with because I see a lot of times kids will celebrate, even adults will celebrate those who they cannot reach out and really touch. Why do you think what do you think that cost us? Because you mentioned somebody who was extremely close to you that you had interaction with every day as an influencer in your life, and we often will look to other individuals that we probably can't touch and we can't reach out to say that they have influence in our life. Do you think that is right? Is that wrong? Or and in either one of the answers, what do you think that cost somebody?
Yeah, I think it can be right and it can be wrong. What is very dangerous is perception.
Hmm.
So, I think
Hmm.
of, little kid in a low income neighborhood, lots of violence, a lot of odds stacked against them, and seeing a positive influence and
Yeah.
holding on to that as, what could be their reality, and them taking a sharp left turn in the right direction, versus ending up in trouble and
Yeah.
say, hey, this could be really great. But on the other hand of that, I think that there is this idea that you could see something and not know the full story. And perception is very seldom reality. So,
Right. Right.
so you could be motivated in the wrong direction. You could be motivated by the wrong person. Authenticity is a thing. Instagram is a great example nowadays. Everybody looks like they're rich, they're famous, they're beautiful. No one shows up to Instagram looking grungy or crazy or
They're not.
right. Exactly. So where perception is, it can be very damaging to others because it
Yeah.
is not, in fact, the reality, and the cost can be great.
Mm.
It could be people with low self confidence, people who feel like they are failing at life. People who feel like they have to live up to some sort of expectations that they never will, or that don't even exist. Other people are not even expecting you to live up to.
Mm.
It could cause you not to reach your full potential. So that cost could be lifelong damage to what you really were meant to be, who you were meant to become, how
Wow.
you were meant to earn, because you're living in that idea of perception versus reality.
Wow. Brilliant words right there. When you are out there and you're listening to Lauren right now, who is your influencer? Who has come alongside of you in your life? When I asked that question of Lauren, and since it's Women's Month, put the woman that was the most influential in your life out there. I can call her one name right now. Colleen Amstein was for me, who just really took me under her wing. And after I had a really hard experience on a job, and she really poured, invested in me, and showed me how we can invest in other individuals. So, all right. So I'm going to shift gears just a little bit right now. So put that in the chat box, y'all. Is who inspired you the most? Who's your influencer? So we talk. Let's just change a little bit just to the Olympic motto. The Olympic motto, the Latin words "Citius Altius Fortius." "Citius Altius Fortius," which of course means swifter, higher, stronger. And as we look at those words, what is it about that Olympic motto that's been around since 776 BC that really inspires you?
I would say the idea to kind of, like I said, keep reaching your full potential. So swifter, higher, stronger. you can be swift, you can be strong, and you can go high, but to go that next level is like to continue on to reach your full potential. It's not,
Hmm.
won't just get here and stop. Let's see how far we can go.
Hmm.
And I think that is kind of the nature of what competition is all about. I think sometimes we, once again, perception versus reality. We think that competition is about war and battle and winning, and actually the failure of someone else. When I think honestly, it's to push you to reach your full potential and become your best self. It's not to damage or hurt anyone along the way, but to get to this, pinnacle point in your own life, or to be pursuing the pinnacle, because I don't know if you actually ever get there for anyone.
Hmm. Hmm. You said something in there about, things that might get in your way, people that might get in your way, obstacles that might get in your way. I call them in the as in the pursuit of something, distractions, right? Something that can take you off course. What were some of the distractions that you had to manage, that you had to get through, that were I don't know if they were challenging, but I got to deal with this if I want Y over here, I got to deal with this X factor right now.
Yeah, I would say relationships with other people,
Hmm.
whether that be family, friends, significant others. A lot of people have their own baggage and they bring that to your table. And by simply having them in your life, you have to manage and deal with that baggage on some level.
Hmm.
On what level, there's, a lot of different options and, possibilities there, but, that can definitely become a distraction. The other thing I would say is, time management, low self confidence was a distraction that I had, so
Hmm.
not thinking that I'm good enough, getting in my own way, and stopping me from reaching my full potential as quickly or in the manner that would be most efficient.
One of mine. Thank you for sharing that. You brought something back to me when I went to Sydney. Well, actually, before Sydney, one of my distractions was it's even kind of embarrassing to say right now, but one of my distractions had to do with putting together an event. And so as a new amputee, as an amputee running for like pretty early on in my career, trying to run on an artificial limb, I didn't really understand how to do it. I understood biomechanics from running, but I didn't understand how to do it with this new contraption I had. And I get to I think the 2000 the Olympic trials, where they did an exhibition race in a 100-meter dash. I don't even run 100-meter dashes. I ran hurdles, right? And so I'm in the blocks. I put this race together with all these folks from around the world, and there's no guarantee I'm going to win this race at all because I didn't stack. I didn't pad it. So like John wins, and I don't run hundreds. And not all, but many of the people who knew me when I ran for Arkansas in the old Southwest Conference, they're in the stands cheering and yelling out my name, like, because welcome back to the track is what they're. And that was probably the biggest distraction that I had. My legs were jelly
Mm,
because I felt like I had to perform and do well for them and me and all this whole moment of time. It was nerve wracking, but after that, it was a liberating
I
experience.
can only imagine how nerve wracking that is, having lived through similar situations. But I think you bring up a really good point about the idea that people don't have to have bad intentions, or distractions can come with good intent. Because those people wanted to see you do great. They were there to
Absolutely.
support you, but that, while well meaning, it could have the opposite effect and become an actual distraction that allows you not to get where you wanted to go.
My leg was so when I got in the block, I said, where did my leg go? Where'd it go? I only have one left. I only have one left, and it's gone. I won the race though. I made it down there.
A lot of pressure.
But
So maybe not a distraction. Maybe pushed you in the right direction.
no, I don't think it was pushing me, girl. Ooh.
Put a brick on your back.
But it was very nice. It was one of those moments, right, where you kind of everything kind of came back, acceptance and all these things, what we're feeling, because that's really the fear, is I'm not going to be accepted, I'm not going to be valued, I'm not going to be wanted. You're isolated, you're on your own, but you're really not. And so that's a perception. As you talk about perceptions, that was something that was in my mind. So in the distractions, you're managing distractions. Do you think that some of these skills of managing ripples of disturbance or distractions that are going on in Olympic moment, because they happen all the time. My family came to Australia, and I went to go pick them up at the airport outside the village, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get back in the village because I lost a little bit of mojo getting out there. So I said, okay, here's the keys to the apartment. Y'all go. I'm going back to the village. Do you think some of those skills are transferable? Once you transition from athlete to workforce.
Oh, for sure. Juggling, multiple balls, like I said, managing relationships, time management,
Hmm.
being able to kind of put your foot down and say, hey, I have to go focus. That in and of itself takes some guts. Because it's your family. You don't want to be mean to them. You want to be rude. You want to spend time with them, but you also are there to perform a job. So to be able to take those things into your workplace and say, all right, it's time to buckle down. It's time to really focus on whatever the task is that it is at hand. You're well practiced in that when you've been an athlete because you understand how important it is to prioritize what it is that you need in the moment in order to be your best.
So when you were getting those skill sets and learning how to prioritize, did that come like earlier on in your life, like prior to Miami? Was there a moment when you saw or you thought something and you said, you know what, I think I can make that come true for me? Was there a vision moment? Not that you had the entire vision, but a glimpse of what could be possible.
I think one thing that's really I have to credit my parents for is that I didn't see a lot of obstacles in my life. I saw a
Mm,
lot of opportunity. So
mm,
I don't come from a rich family. I don't come from, affluence or, even my mother was highly educated. But overall, like you said, we were pretty just normal to low, I say middle to upper low class, if you will.
mm,
Um, and there were, significant number of barriers. I have five sisters, two brothers. We don't actually, any of us share the same mom and dad. So there's just like all these kind of things that you could think of that are dysfunction or, obstacles that could have been in your life. And they were never painted as such for me.
mm,
So I say that to say is I don't think of a time where there was a barrier to something that I couldn't do. And I was like, maybe I can't. I've always been thinking about like how to be more efficient. What else could I do? A good example to kind of illustrate my point is my high school was predominantly white. There were 365 students. I was the only black girl in my graduating class
mm.
of 80, 88 people, I think. So small school, very small town. But I was a class president all 4 years. So that's something that you would think obstacle wise is like, oh, they're never going to pick a black girl.
Hmm.
I'm already a minority. I don't fit in here. I stick out like a sore thumb. Except, there's just these narratives on and on and
Right,
on.
right.
And I was like, oh, like I'm gonna be the popular kid. I'm gonna, be the class president. I'm gonna make change for my uh, participants.
Myself.
Right, and everyone. They came to me
Yeah.
like, Lauren, we need a new so and so in the girls' bathroom. I would march to the principal's office, and say, hey, you know what we need? We need this in the girls' bathroom, and this is why we need it. And what day can you get it by? Like, I never really understood like authority, and it wasn't a rude thing. It was just like this is my job, so
Right.
let me go here to the principal. I wasn't afraid of anything. I was just like everything was opportunity, not obstacles.
I love that. I think more kids need to have that earlier on in life. So when you're thinking about this and this whole was there a moment then that I guess the question I want to ask was there a moment where when you were in track and you're kind of feeling this thing out and you're kind of doing well, was there a moment there like when you said I think I can make an Olympic team, or did that come much later?
Um, I think that yeah, maybe my mom and my dad might tell a different story about things that they remember, but I would say no. From my viewpoint, I wanted to become an Olympian when I became an Olympian. So, I was going to college. I was trying to, get my free education. I was trying to repay my coach for the opportunity to get that free education.
Hmm.
And I was working my butt off specifically for that, not because I was trying to become an Olympian. I definitely was always trying to be the first person to the finish line. I was competitive, But it wasn't that I was trying to become a professional athlete and, kind of take over the world. It wasn't even kind of on my radar until I was like, oh, I just ran the second fastest time in the world. I'm a junior in college and it's the Olympic year. And now I'm being wooed by shoe companies and things like that. And my coach sat me down and had the conversation of, hey, I can't honestly tell you to stay at school and continue one more year when your earning potential right now is through the roof. We don't know it's going to be like that a year from now.
That is something I think a lot of athletes don't get is the sit down and the talking to, right? Because there's so many people out there that will say, well, stay in school, make sure you are getting your education because that's what's going to be your earning potential later on. But there is a right now moment. There is an opportunistic moment in that moment. And so in that moment, what did you decide to do when she presented that case before you?
I decided to become a professional athlete. I knew that, like you said, it's good to have a team and a village that you can trust. That if she was sitting me down and saying that to me, that it must be the right thing. And like you said, her interest should have been in keeping me in school. And I know I saw some of my peers whose coach tried to keep them in school despite it not being the best thing for them. Because what does the coach get paid to do? Have a college championship team. So
Right, right.
you leaves college and no longer be that's not in the coach's best interest. But to do what's right for the actual person as opposed to what's right for the athlete, I think speaks volumes to the kind of coach that I had. And so I was really grateful for that.
I see a parallel, and I have a comment here I wanted to put up, but I see a parallel to something I just did. I was saying actually today, and they were asking me. I wrote this book called 10 Power Stories to Impact Any Leader: Journal Your Way to Leadership Success. And they said, "Why'd you write the book?" I said, "Because I want to get out. I want to work myself out of a job
Mm,
because companies were asking me to come in and tell their story."
mm.
And I said, "You should be able to tell your own story." And I think that's the same type. I think when people are expansive and they're not really concerned about their worth and who they are, they know the next opportunity is going to open up for them. And that's one of our Facebook users just said here. Everything was an opportunity, not an obstacle. So well said, Lauren. I agree 100%. But a lot of people do see obstacles. So when you're coaching, and I'm going to kind of flip now over to your coaching hat of a financial planner, and I'm going to jump back again. But how do you show people the opportunities? Because you are very skilled financial planner now. How do you show people the opportunities that, yeah, you are Olympian, you've done you've run three medals. I'll never do that. So you had a lot of earnings and you could do this. How do you break it down to them?
Well, the first thing that I talk to clients about is what do you want? Because it's so important to understand what is your goal, your visions, your values before we go anywhere with kind of breaking down money and the math behind getting somewhere. Is that we have to know where we want to go. And so for me, it's about talking to you about what it is that you want because there's so much noise. We hear it all the time. Newer car, bigger house, nicer clothes, more trips, and on and on and on. And some people are pursuing that, even though that's not actually what they want. There's a question that I ask my clients, and it is, are there any numbers that are important to you? And they're always like, what? What does that mean? Can you give, they have these follow-up questions. And I'm like, nope, that is the question. That's all there is to it. Because, what ends up happening is people say, oh, here's a good example. I had a client who said that 50 and 16 were the important numbers to them. And I said, why? Well, the mother was going to be 50 and the daughter was going to be 16 in the same year. So it was a ways off, but the kid was like 2 at the time, but they knew that they were going to be 50 and 16 in the year and they want to plan for a bash, a big thing because it's 2 milestone birthdays at once. So you could say, I want to be a millionaire. If you write me a check for $1 million, John, I'm certainly going to cash it. But what does the narratives all say? That we're all trying to become millionaires. We're all trying to do, that's not necessarily what you want. And so we first have to have a conversation about what is the thing that is important to you. Because if you can live an awesome life that you're going to love and only have, $300,000 versus this $1 million, then why do we need the million?
Hmm.
If you don't want to have a whole bunch of money, you want to give, and giving is your main value, your goal, and your vision. So then, how can we give so that you can feel really good about what you're doing, and you still be taken care of? What is important to you is the first thing that we've got to figure out before we move past the actual financial coaching part of things.
I love that. And so I always write down here. It's kind of my notes. So if you see me looking over here, I'm writing my notes down. And what came to my mind when you were saying all this is Shonda Rhimes, Olivia Pope.
Mm.
What is it that you want? Scandal. What is it that you want? The white hat. I love it. And it is, most people can't articulate that question or have a difficulty articulating what it is they actually desire.
Yeah.
A lot of times it comes up when I'm talking to people, it comes up as other individuals and looking at what they have. So I think I want that.
It's
And
the narrative. Yeah,
right.
exactly. It's just like all this noise all the time.
Hmm.
I don't know what I want because society is telling me what I want, or social media is telling me what I want. And I never took time to actually think about what it is that I want. I just see
Right.
Jane has it and it looks really good and shiny, but do you actually want what Jane
Because it's going to look good on me. That's going
has?
right.
Right.
And that's the biggest fallacy. It's a really, and you get tired just chasing other people's stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't even know if they like their own stuff because they chase it from somebody else, right?
Now you say the word, right?
So another user says, two superstars right there. I have to agree with half that statement. The superstar is Lauryn Williams. Wow, we're gonna even put her closer. Watch this. Bam! Wow! So yeah, Lauren, rock star. So thank you, Facebook user that did that. That's probably Lynn over there. So if you've been enjoying this conversation and you've learned something, please put that in the chat box. We want to hear from you. And when you're doing that, because we're not on LinkedIn Live for some reason, I said that wouldn't go, but follow Lauren. Make sure that you're following her and then shouting her out and all the great wisdom that she's dropping and what she's going to be giving to us. All right. So you win silver in London. You win in the 100. You win fourth in Beijing. You win gold in the 4x100 meters in 2012. What did you learn about yourself from those incredible experiences?
So to summarize, there's so much when you look back on it. In 2004, I was kind of like a deer in headlights. So didn't really, know or understand the implications of what I was achieving. And I think it actually worked to my advantage. You're just too ignorant to be afraid or be scared. No, there are no obstacles, right?
Right.
In 2008, I think the big learning lesson was this idea that you need to be a good loser. And so it was the first inclination that things are not going to always go as planned. They say all the time life is not fair. In 2004, it definitely did not feel fair. A lot of times people ask, like, what was a hard thing that you had to overcome? What are the obstacles? Fourth place is a huge, huge letdown for the Olympic Games. You'd almost rather be eighth. No, you not almost. You would rather be eighth. Just a flat out, you didn't do well versus fourth. And my particular fourth place was they did a gold, two silver medals, and a bronze. So I was like, wait a minute. They got two, like, I should have been, a bronze medal. Actually, they did gold and two silver, and then fourth place. So there was no bronze medal. So I'm like, I should have been bronze. And they're like, no, it doesn't work like that. Like, three people get medals. That's it. So, just a tough situation to be in 08. But, trying to understand that, like, you didn't do what you needed to do to be in the running one way or the other. And yeah, that's just the end of that. And then in 2012, I would say learning how to be a team player was the thing that stood out to me the most. So I did not run in the finals of the 4x1 relay. And for a while, I felt very shameful to even say a gold medalist. Like, people were just like, oh, you won a gold medal. That's so awesome. Show us the medal. And I'm like, this ain't really my medal. I'm not trying to show you.
Oh, wow.
But I had to
Wow.
grow and evolve to a
Wow.
place where I realized, like, what my contribution was to that team. That if we did not make it out of the preliminary round, there would have been no final round to win a gold at. And also, what the journey would have been like. So 2004, we dropped the baton. 2008, we dropped the baton. So 2012 was a chance at redemption. And I was directly involved with those first two drops. So it was a lot on the line. The win and the gold medal in and of itself was getting the baton all the way around the track in 2012, in
Hmm.
addition to getting on to the finals and us actually executing in a way that allowed us to win that gold medal and break the world record. So to feel your part and to understand that you did contribute and that every member of the team is integral was a lesson I had to learn and be comfortable with so that I can be proud of that gold medal.
That's a mouthful. That's powerful of what you just shared. I have lots of thoughts. I'm not going to go into them because we'll be here all day with my thoughts I have on that around entitlement, around earning what we earn, around graciousness in both winning and losing, a graciousness in understanding, who we are, how we show up as a team performer, a player, not just on the track and the field or basketball, football, but also in the corporate space. It's just a lot to unpack there, so I'm not gonna even try to go down that road. But then you kind of you switch it up, and I know that when I was in what I guess it was probably right before it was before I think it was right after the it was right before anyway it was sometime after the Gulf War. So I was in the military. I'm on the world class athlete program team, trying to run track and field. I get called to military service. I come back, and there was an opportunity for me to try out for the bobsled team. So I had this test that came up, and I go out and I do the testing. My numbers are good, so I go up to Lake Placid, New York, and I get on. Somebody scarfs me up, puts me in a two-man sled. We go down the mountain. Most terrifying experience of my life. I'm thinking it's going to be a nice joyride down the mountain. And halfway down, so we go from the half mile first, and at the half mile we get down like a little over a minute. Then we go to the mile start, and we get down in under a minute. I'm like, what the heck just happened there? Head hitting the bottom of the sled. I mean, this is like beating you up. What was the mindset that you were in to kind of, I'm going to switch from track and field to the shivering sport of bobsled?
There's no obstacles. Why not?
Why not?
So,
There are obstacles. There
wait,
are
well,
obstacles.
actually, I'm gonna save my question for one of the five questions. I'm gonna
Okay.
ask you a question right now, but I'm gonna save it for later.
Okay. All right.
But to me, bobsled was really, just perfect timing, perfect place. I always think of like opportunity knocks when I think of like how I ended up in bobsled is
Mm.
I swing open the door like, okay, what are we doing next? Come on, opportunity, let's go. Um, I was in the airport and learned about bobsled after having read an article about Lolo Jones trying it. She and I were in the airport headed to a race. And I was like, oh my goodness, I read this article about you trying bobsled. How'd you find it? She's like, girl, you'd be so good at it. And I'm like, what? Like, how do you even, like, how do you learn it? Like, what are the things you need? And she's like, you just need to be able to run fast. And you're a really powerful athlete. You can do it. So I was still not thinking Olympics. I was thinking, oh, this might be something to do life after sport because this was my last season. I knew I was
Hmm.
actively in the last season of participating in track and field.
Hmm.
So I was like, this might be something to keep me busy. I don't know how you do recreational bobsled. You need to go out here and try this.
Recreational bobsled.
I ended up at basically the equivalent of the USA Olympic trials. And that was my first introduction into bobsled. And the next 6 months were a whirlwind. And then I got a silver medal.
Then I got a super medal. Wow, that's
Not my plan
fantastic.
at all.
But that also talks about opportunities. You were talking about that, and when it opens, the door opens up. Walk through it. Have the courage to walk through the door. That's fantastic. All right, so we have come to the round, everybody, of John's Inspire Five, the flash round that we always do with our guest. And if you have a question for Lauren, please put it in the chat box right now. I know we have a few people on right now, so at least I see a couple people. There's been going up and down, but I know there are more people out there. So just put a question if you have it for Lauren in the chat box. We're going to get ready for our flash round. I'm going to do 5 questions to Lauren, then she's going to do 5 back to me, and we'll see what we come up. These are just random questions. We're just asking each other. So I'm going to start with this. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Okay, Summer Olympics or Winter Olympics?
Ooh. Winter.
Exact time of your fastest 100-meter dash.
10.88.
Favorite soup?
Soup.
Soup. Like,
Ooh. I'm gonna go with a crab bisque.
ooh, I like that. The quote or mantra you say the most?
Hard work knows no limits.
Hard work knows the limits. Who do you know that you would love to hear on the show next?
Sonia Richards Ross.
Oh, yes, let's get Sonia Richards Ross on. All right. And so, okay, now that was my five. So you got five for me.
Okay. Are you ready?
I don't know. I'm going to be ready. I'm ready. It's an opportunity. It's
Sure.
an opportunity.
First question. Did you pee on yourself when you went down the bobsled the first time?
No,
The second time?
maybe.
Yes. Oh, wow. That's the most common thing that people don't know about bobsled is that you pee on yourself. Even if you're a grown up, it might
You
happen.
will pee on yourself,
You will
yes.
pee on
And
yourself.
you know why?
Why?
Because I took a peek at how fast we're actually going. So I was a brakeman. I was looking down, kind of, just trying to memorize the track. And I just kind of looked up and I saw how fast we're going. Squirt.
Resources and the terror is real thing, people. All right, number two. You've got $20 in your pocket right now. What do you spend it on?
Uh, oh my, I would do a a flower arrangement for my wife.
Oh, okay. I like
Yep.
it. Good answer. Good answer. Worst money habit.
Um, worst money habit. These are good,
Everybody
girl.
has one, even finance.
My worst money habit. Uh, Probably an impulse buy on something I actually really want. That I probably shouldn't get.
Okay, so tell us your best money habit then.
Best money habit, saving.
Okay, I like it.
Probably investment saving.
Something you do for fun that doesn't cost anything.
My walk or ride around the neighborhood or swim.
Okay, okay. Last but not least, one thing that you want to improve about your finances in the upcoming year.
Uh, I want to get more control on um, executing dollars.
Executing dollars. Tell us.
Where they go, where they go. I want to know where specifically every single dollar is going out of my hands.
There is a famous saying that says, "If you don't tell your money where to go, you will always be wondering where it went." So that is.
Absolutely. Yep.
I think I did actually more than five, but you weren't
I know you
ready.
did six. You did six. I was counting because you were trying to get me. You got me on the P. You got me on the P question.
Right,
Talk about my
exactly.
business about peeing on a bobsled.
Yeah, I had to add something. I had my five, but then I also had to add something.
Okay, here's a sixth one for us both. Favorite athletic moment of your life?
Ooh, mine's a story. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go first. I got mine on my head too.
So we're at the Olympic Games for Winter Olympics, and we are at our second to last practice. My sled mate and I went down, and something happened with the brakes, or we're still not sure to this day like what happened. But we crashed. We crashed at the finish line though, and we totaled our sled 2 days before the Olympic Games. So they had
The
to
BMW sled.
the BMW sled, which was brand new technology that not everybody knew how to use. So they definitely didn't know how to fix very well. And yeah, so we had to steal the parts from a sled, and not it
Cannibalize.
was our own sled, but we had to get parts. They built the sled in less than 24 hours. Fixed us back up so we could rock and roll. And we're on pins and needles for the last practice. Is this leg going to work? Is it going to stay together? Is it gonna be super slow because we've been killing it? We're the favorites to win. We're in contention to be the favorites to win. And we go down, and we actually have like the fastest start. Not the fastest start of the day, the fastest run time of the day. And the moment for me, that is the favorite athletic moment is we get back to the top, and everybody is standing up there, all the different sports, all the different countries, males and females, and they're cheering as if we won the games because
Wow.
people did not want to see us not compete. They realized that at the games, everybody needs to be there so that the winner can actually win and feel good. You know, you either win or you lose based on what happens, not based on your opponent not being able to show up.
Right.
And just
Right.
to feel that solidarity in that moment was so cool.
Yeah, that's a great one. Oh, Steve Harris. Okay. Uh, he didn't do the StreamYard permission. So Steve Harris, we ran track together in high school. We were on
Mm.
what's called the checkerboard relay because I was black, and then we had another white guy on there. Then we had a black guy with Steve and myself. So we call us the checkerboard relay. So thanks, Steve, for being on. Appreciate it. That was his question. Okay. My favorite moment was not the checkerboard relay, Steve. So how to get all this stuff out of here? There we go. Was and so now I reread the question. So I reread it. So it's of your life, right? So of my life. Because when anybody asks me what my favorite moment is, it really comes down to two things. One is and they're both in 1968 at the 1968 games. One is John Carlos and Tommy Smith. Uh, that was a moment, and the other one is Bob Beeman's world record jump. Those are the two things that stand out in my mind. So Mr. Beeman's jump has never been broken in the Olympics. And when I interviewed him, what he said was, I said, you had this world record, is this amazing? Because I'm thinking about it in retrospect of 29 feet, 2.5 inches, and how long it stood. He's thinking about it in the first jump of his finals. So he's like, what I was thinking about was, I need to prepare to jump 30 feet because somebody else is about to beat me. Right. And I said, oh my gosh, that's exactly right. That's exactly what you're supposed to be thinking about at that time. But the favorite of my moment, I think, came at the culmination of my entire career at the games in Sydney, Australia, where I wanted to be an Olympian and then got derailed and found this parallel path and had to relearn how to run again, relearn how to jump off my other foot again, and put all the acumen back into this long jump. And after 3.5 years of preparation and training, wind up winning silver medal. And the guy that beat me had to break a world record to do it. So that was the moment that I recall the most in my own life. But it was not so much the finishing of the jump; it was the embrace with the athlete afterward, the medal ceremony, and then going down after the medal ceremony is over, and a woman who knew me as a collegiate athlete. She says to me, John, I saw you in the Southwest Conference when you ran against Michael Johnson. You've jumped against Carl Lewis. Do you think with artificial limb technology, could you do the same thing again? And I thought about it, and I looked back. I said, no, I don't. I said, however, maybe your question should be, if God forbid Carl Lewis or Michael Johnson lost a limb, could they
Mm.
run as fast or jump as far as I do? And that's shifted me, right? It was like I found myself. I'm okay now. I have accomplished something not for everybody else, but for me in my
Mhm.
life. Because not everybody wants to be an Olympic athlete. Not everybody wants to be a Paralympic athlete. I know a lot of people that are able-bodied don't want to become Paralympic athletes for sure, right? That means you got to lost something. But that was, yeah. And then Steve says, checkerboard relay forever. He's a professional football player. Has been on Gladiator. He's an amazing guy. But yeah, that was the moment. Was all of that kind of combining and understanding everything that I had learned up to a particular point in time. I could put on that track in that moment. All of my acumen, and even Dawn Burrell. So Dawn is sister of Leroy Burrell.
I was gonna say I know Leroy Burrell, I know
You
his
know
son
Leroy.
Dan Burrell, right?
Dawn is a jumper, and I put her in the military, put her in the army, and she was the first person to make the Olympic team for the army since like 1972 or something.
Wow.
And so she goes over, and she had trouble in the jumps, but I called her afterwards, and she was asking me. I was asking her, "Hey, what I'm about to go? What are the conditions?" And she say, "Winds are swirling. and it's like when I was there, it's like on like a 17, 18-second gusts. So now I know when I'm on the long jump runway, I'm timing the wind.
Mm.
When's it at my back? I'm using everything, Lauren, in my arsenal. And that's the moment, everything. So I know that if I can just wait 15 seconds and take 2 seconds of the wind at my back, I know that the wind will be in my competitor's face on their next jump.
Mm.
That's how intricate I was getting with it, and that's what I remember most about my Paralympic moments.
Strategy.
Strategies, going deep. All right, so I thank you for doing those. Have we talked about everything? Have I left anything out?
No, I think we covered it. This was a great conversation.
I want to make sure we got to all the questions. 'Cause I want to make sure you got to your stuff on what your book. You got a book. I want to talk about the books just real quick. And I know we got to go. Tell us, why you wrote the book, who the book is for, and why we need to purchase this one.
The book for me was the gift back to sport, to the sport that has given so much to me. For me, I went through track and field, and there was so much that I had to learn along the way, so many mistakes I had to make, and I just feel like the next generation deserves better, and that we should not keep repeating some of the cycles of things that go wrong when we have the information. We're not sharing enough information with the next generation, so that they can actually know better, do better.
I
So
love
for
it.
me, it's all about, the book has choosing an agent, choosing a coach, things to think about as it pertains to your finances. You are a business owner to
Hmm.
operate accordingly. Um, there's so many, like I said, little things that you don't realize as an athlete that by the time you figure them out, it's cost you tens of thousands of dollars. If you're a bigger athlete, it could have cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars to get it wrong before you got it right.
Yeah.
And I share just kind of what I felt like I wish I would have known as an athlete competing. How to talk to your agent. Your agent's older than you, is like old enough to be your parent, but you employ the agent.
Right.
So you need to act as if this is someone that you have employed, and they need to act accordingly when you ask them to do something, or you have your wishes and dreams and goals and desires. Sometimes that role gets a little bit reversed, and it doesn't end up being you doing what's in your best interest. So little things like how to manage that dynamic, knowing that they have more experience in the sport, but ultimately you are the one that needs to be making the decisions.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things I share in the book.
I love that. It's so important. One of the things that's the small thing I talk about athletes in transition. We'll just wrap this up.
Mm.
Is take advantage of the opportunities. We get back to this whole theme around opportunities. Take advantage of the opportunities that you have in the moment that you have them. So international travel happens a lot. Take the time to do a couple extra days in a place, not just to see or visit, but to reach out maybe as an American athlete to reach out to the U.S. Embassy, U.S. Consulate,
Mm.
and then see if there's anything that you might be of service for, because people are always trying to learn English, and you might be able to just share a little bit at the consulate, and then you get a chance to put that on your LinkedIn resume or
Yep.
on your resume, and that's something that and you have the ambassador's endorsement of it, so you're building your resume as you go. So that's one of
Because
the,
those
the
relationships
pieces.
are going to be imperative when you transition from sport to life after sport.
And that's the word. That's the word. Snap, snaps up. Lauren Williams, thank you so much for being on today. I so much appreciate you. You're just such a great gift to all of us. Please go out. But what's the book called? It's
The Oval
the Oval
Office,
Office.
a four-time Olympian's guide to professional track and field.
Say it one more time.
The Oval Office, a four-time Olympian's guide to professional track and field.
One more time.
No more time. You can find me on Amazon. You can find me on all the social media platforms.
I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah, we'll put that out there. We'll chop these all up and just give you the copy of this as well, and then we'll get it on LinkedIn because I'm not sure even what happened on there. All right, so stick around for 1 second. We're gonna close the show out, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being on. Hurdlers of Adversity, Inspirers and Maximizers of Pivotal Moments. We've had Lauren Williams, rock star, just crushed it today for us. And we're going to make sure that we get you all the show notes and everything and get you the book copy, the links to it, because she is rock star awesome. All right. So when truth outweighs fear, we commit to a courageous life. Think about that. When truth outweighs fear, we commit to a courageous life. What are the fears that are holding you back from your goals, your dreams, the aspirations that you have in your life? There's a great quote by Anais Nim. She says, "And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than it took to blossom." I love that. So you are the inspirations. You are the catalyst to motivation. Motivation in turn causes actions. Actions lead us to transformational results. And these results, they re-inspire us or they allow someone else to catch the vision. My name's John Register saying go forth and inspire your world. We'll see you back here next Thursday with another guest. It's April Fool's Day. And guess what I'm going to be talking to? I'm going to be talking to John Register. Not me, another one. Whoo, what's that all about? So come back here, join us, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.